Welcome to Heroes of Peace, Voice of the Diaspora. My name is Daisy Orisa, and I will be your host today. But I'm not here by myself. So I have Pastor Daniel Adejo from Lagos. So he is on grounds where this is all happening. So Pastor Daniel, can you please tell us a little bit about what's going on back in Nigeria?
Well, at the moment, let me say Nigeria is peaceful. However, there is what is called the peace of the graveyard. That seems to be what we are on now, because the next moment, you don't know where the news is going to hit, whether it's from the far north, central, or southwest, or southeast. That's the situation. The most annoying part is the fact that the target now has become children, especially school children of high school, and that's quite disturbing.
That sounds very, very heartbreaking. Today our focus will actually be on the closure of the 47 schools in Nigeria following the abduction of school children in Kebbi State. So for over a decade now, the Boko Haram terrorists have been terrorizing people, and now they're targeting children. So they're using that as a strategy to spread their belief that Western education is forbidden. This is very sad, and this is happening in the northeastern part of Nigeria. So these activities of Boko Haram has rendered many families, many communities peaceless. There's no peace there. Many children are still in captivity of their captors, and I can't imagine how their parents, their family members feel, with their children being taken away. So our goal today is to foster peace and hope in the lives of the family members and the community of the victims that have been taken away by these monsters. So we're going to be talking to our host. So it is my pleasure to discuss with our Nigerian-born American scientist. He is the founder and the CEO of LifeSTEM Academy, Minnesota, USA. His name is Mr. Amos Taffa. He is an author. He is a professor of mathematics at Thoreau University in Texas. Mr. Taffa, he's a very young man, by the way, because when you hear all this, you're thinking professor. It's one elderly man. He's a very young man, and Mr. Taffa, you're welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So please, we can imagine how heartbreaking, traumatic, and how the situation looks hopeless for the victims of this terrorists that have been displaced. The children have been abducted, and they've been separated from their families, and they have to start all over. They've lost loved ones. Some people have been widowed. Some people have, without parents. What is your message of hope and peace for these people, for what is going on?
Yeah, well, thank you again. And yes, I am. This is very sad. I am from the northeastern part of Nigeria, where Boko Haram actually has destroyed, our village multiple times and things like that. Unfortunately, these attacks now have spread across, different parts, even to the northwest and the central parts. Very sad to see. One of the things that I thought about before this call that I want to encourage people with is that I really believe, by God's grace, that this is the end of a tenure or an era. We have to move forward. And what I mean by that is this: for those who are going through difficult times, please hang in there. We're going to do all we can to connect the diasporians to the people in Nigeria, and then to make a path forward that is very strategic, and we plan ahead and say, what are we going to do different? Because we can't live with just a defensive stance. We have to now start thinking ahead and start encouraging our leaders to please take on the mantle of responsibility and accountability and provide security for the citizens. But as I said before, and I'll say again, for every family whose child has been displaced, Between me and my friends and our organizations, we will provide all we can to provide you with a quality education. We'll do all we can. So as far as the education side, please don't worry. We're going to give you all we have. We're going to give you an education that is better than anything in the world. The best we can give, we will give to you at no cost to get your children back on track to start flourishing. This is again for those who are out of school. I just want them to know there's help coming. However, of course, these types of things happening are just difficult to comprehend. But I think that this is where community comes in. We need community, and that community is part of how we're going to support you to grow in peace. And I hope that you just hang in there. So
yes, we have to stay hopeful. Yeah, my co-host can go ahead and ask a question to that.
Thank you, Daisy. Mr. Taffa, before we go into the nitty-gritty of our meeting today, can you just tell us what you are up to right now? You live in Texas, so what are you up to right now so that we can connect with what we're about to discuss?
Yeah, so I am, and I wanted to provide an update. Even though by God's grace, I've taught for many years. I'm not yet a full professor. I'm a adjunct instructor. But by God's grace, I'm sure that will come in due time, in terms of the official title. But I live in Texas, near Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas has actually now become one of the tech hubs of the world. And so I live very close to Austin. This is where Elon Musk and some of these guys are based. And I work in medical physics and radiology. So my science background and work involves X-rays. So I work with X-rays and make sure that they are in the proper alignment for radiologists to read X-ray images. So that's my technical background. But I'm also a math and science curriculum writer. I've been doing that for about 10 years. So I write math programs, custom-made programs, and I also have written a framework called Counting to Calculus. By God's grace, it's the most comprehensive and efficient curriculum on mathematics anywhere in the world today, because it covers primary school, secondary school, and university. So it's all of the above. And so we've written math programs to guide people from basic math to the most advanced of any mathematics that anyone can get in the education system.
All right, thank you so much. Back to you, Daisy.
So education is dear to my heart, is close to my heart. I'm an educator myself. And I really applaud you. You're writing curriculums. I actually have a master's in curriculum and instruction, and I have imagined writing curriculum, but you're the one doing it. So I applaud you for that. So the Nigerian diaspora remittance in 2024 was $21 billion. Right, guys? That is about the total gross domestic product, the GPD of some countries. So we're sending all this money home. It is believed that Nigerians in diaspora would organize rather than agonize. Organize rather than agonize to support the government by providing relief materials, okay? In this critical socioeconomic need that we have. So the security problem, like you said, the government should step up. But it looks like, what do you think the people, the Nigerians in diaspora can do? How can this support the economic growth and help, with the security problem? What do you think they can do?
Yeah, so let me just mention a few things that people might find very interesting. Well, Nigeria has a lot of potential, and we know that the amount of remittance is actually about 10%. If you look at a GDP of about $250 billion for Nigeria, that means almost 10% of it is coming. Well, I'm saying almost 10% of that number is coming in from people in diaspora. That's a large amount, 20 to 25 billion. Yes. We need to connect with organizations on the ground and work with them the best we can. Working with individuals, trusted organizations is what I think is going to be key at this time. Unfortunately, there's just been, everybody knows some of these, challenges that we have in Africa, but I think that we really have to support the people on the ground and tell them to itemize the ways we can help. So for example, we need computers. Let me give you a practical example. We need laptops and computers and headphones for all the children in northern Nigeria who are without the devices they need to learn during this time when the schools are closed. And I know there's 47 Unity schools closed, but at this point, there's actually a lot of schools also all across certain states like Plateau State and Bauchi. So what I'm going to say is we need literally millions of devices to help the children who are out of school. So those who are in diaspora, you have some laptops you're not using, or find an organization that would be willing to take good care of this, and we can come up with the process and all of that. So number one is the devices for children to learn. Yeah, and then number two, again, relief materials. There's an organization I've worked with before that had gone into places like Benue and provided some relief materials. And then, of course, Linkway Outreach Africa, that we're talking of different ways to work together. And so we need to work with organizations on the ground, and you guys let us know what we can do, and let's keep the word going. And that leads me to one quick thing I want to add. We have to think of this now as creating a plan for whatever. So imagine this situation resolves, God willing, soon. Well, how are we prepared for any other disruptions in the future? We need to plan it now. This is almost like what people do when hurricane season comes to Florida. We need to have a plan. And so again, I'm not praying for bad things to happen. I'm just saying we need to be ready so that when such things happen, we deploy our plan. And that could be working with agencies on the ground, private entities, nonprofits that we can trust and work with directly.
So the key word from what I gathered is to be proactive.
Yes.
So we have to be proactive to be ready when, God forbid, we're not praying for this to happen, but I mean, it's unpredictable. From what Pastor Dan said, the country, we don't know what's going to happen next. Like, I mean, things happen every day. It's very unpredictable. So it's very important for us to be proactive. All right, on that note, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Parents, would you like your children to receive after-school training and tutoring in math, further math, chemistry, physics, biology, career preparation, tech skills, AI, computer science, engineering? Would you like your children to be part of a community of scholars with students in America, in the UK, in Singapore, in Nigeria, and all parts of Africa? My name is Amos Tarfa, and I am introducing you to our after-school tutor training program, or tutor program with trained tutors. Your children will receive tutoring from well-trained tutors who are receiving certification from our programs which have been built out of the US, the Counting to Calculus and STEM Excellence Program. We have after-school tutoring in person as well as online over Zoom, and we're inviting you to join us. To bring your children to learn from the courses that we have to offer. We have programs right now that are running at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. for the children who are out of school. This program now provides the students with math lessons, whether they're in primary school or secondary school, and even those in university who want to improve their math skills. And we will also be providing a holiday camp from December 15th to the 20th. So stay tuned for more information. Visit our website, learningforexcellence.com. learningforexcellence.com. We're providing world-class after-school tutoring for students all across Nigeria and beyond. Reach out for more information. My name is Amos Tarfa with Life, and we have a partnership with Linkway Africa Outreach. Take care and have a blessed day.
Welcome back. My guest, Mr. Amos Tarfa, founder of Life Academy, Life STEM Academy, Minnesota, USA. Thank you so much for staying with us. All right, so your entrepreneurial passion to empower this generation to be globally employable, very important for them to get jobs, in the artificial intelligence-driven world has made you develop a supplemental curriculum, like you said earlier, that you develop curriculums, and I wish I were you, that has helped many nations to transform those who are not good in math and science. I was one of them. I wish you had that program when I was growing up. So those who are not good in math and science, you've been able to transform, them to be masters in math and science. So what's your plan to help Nigeria, especially now that many children are out of school for safety reasons, safety and economic reasons?
Yeah. So, one of the things that is very interesting, your guests will be very surprised to learn, but maybe some of them already realize this, but we are in a revolution, And this revolution is causing even educators to be scratching their heads and thinking, how do I make sense of education in a revolution?
Yeah.
And I want the children to be safe, and I want them to know that their future is not determined by the current state of affairs. But the reality right now is that what is going on with them now, there is an element of it that they can actually turn around and use to their advantage. Because when you know how to use artificial intelligence or AI, you can actually learn 4 to 5 years of material in 1 year. So AI actually expedites your learning if you know how to use it well and you have coaches and guides. So they can use this opportunity right now to say, you know what? I'm going to tap into what's going on with counting the calculus. I'm going to tap into this supplemental resource. And when I go back to school, my teachers are not going to recognize me anymore. They're going to say, what happened to you? You learned a whole year of material in 1 month. That is the type of, like, if you understand AI, that is the type of progress you can make. So I just want to encourage families to realize that at this time, yes, it's a sad situation, but there used to be a famous saying that, you know, when life gives you lemon, turn it to lemonade, right? So what are you going to make of your situation? And then let me add one more thing. Some of the best mathematicians who have ever lived. So that's part of my research is I studied the best mathematicians and physicists, and I've visited some of them's houses. I've gone to Isaac Newton's house. I've gone to James Clerk Maxwell's house. I go to their houses because I'm trying to learn their story. Like, why were they so good? And what you realize that is that most of them became so good not because they were in school, but because they had a passion and curiosity. I'm not saying school is not important. I'm just saying that your passion and curiosity can still drive you when you don't have school. And so please use this opportunity to tap into the resources and keep pushing forward. Don't allow your circumstance to limit where you can go in life at this point.
Yeah, very good point. Don't allow your circumstance to limit you, especially with AI, like what you said. Yeah. So yes. So, Pastor Dan, over to you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Mr. Tafra, now Linkway Outreach Africa and Linkway Diplomat Incorporated in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, is collaborating with Live, and we are going to stand as distributors for the counting to calculus module. Now, can you tell us or tell our audience how this really works? How will these modules work?
So, you know, some days I thank God for where I'm at today, but life is not a coincidence. And it's unbelievable that this boy from northeastern Nigeria ends up in America and writes a curriculum that is being used and now is going to go back to northeastern Nigeria by God's grace and all across Nigeria. But what we've done is this. Remember, I mentioned part of my research is on the best mathematicians and physicists, right? And what I realize is I study them closely, just like people study billionaires. You know, there's some people who love studying the history of rich people and all that. But I also love studying the best maths and best science people. And what I realize is one of the reasons they were so good at what they did is that they didn't separate their math from their science. They did it together. So counting to calculus is actually the first integrated math, chemistry, physics, computer science, and engineering curriculum. And we're not separating it out. Why? Because the reason let's talk about Isaac Newton. The reason Isaac Newton discovered calculus was because he was trying to solve a physics problem. Let me repeat. Yeah, he did the physics. He was trying to figure out the motion of the planets and this and that and the equations for that. And so he came up with the calculus. He's a co-founder of the calculus, which is a math class every engineer has to take in the world. So my question is, why do we separate math and science? Why do we split them apart? Like, this is my plea. Nigeria, if you will do what I say, you will be number one. Don't separate physics and maths. Don't separate them because they were never supposed to be separated. The moment we started separating them, guess what? The world has never produced a mathematician or physicist like those of the 1800s ever again. Let that just sink in. We've never produced mathematicians of the caliber of the best since we started fragmentation. So what counting to calculus is doing is we're bringing math and physics and further math and chemistry all together, and we give it to you as one meal. So guess what? You enjoy the meal because you know why you are learning what you are learning. You know the why behind what you are learning. So as far as the distribution, so that's the curriculum. I hope I've got everybody's appetite excited. So now we want that curriculum in the hands of every child in Africa, in the hands of every child everywhere in the world. But I'm just saying, it seems like there's a hunger. Today we were teaching mathematics to children who are out of school in Plateau State. Some of them were staying 30 minutes past the time. I said, these people are hungry. That is what we want. If you are hungry, Amos is saying, let's give you the mathematics of Isaac Newton at the level which and connect it to your life so you can be excited about learning it. So Linkway, we're excited to work with you. We want to distribute it through live instruction with your teachers. We want to distribute the online modules. We have the link that you can use to sign up. So I'll stop there.
Wow.
Well, by the way, I was a guest in the 11 a.m. class this morning, and it was quite interesting. All right, back to you, Daisy.
That's nice. So I love that you talked about the teachers and putting this curriculum in their hands. So one of the factors that that we've identified with low performance, I mean, as a teacher, as an educator, is the low performance in math and science is really bad. But another thing is the lack of qualified teachers.
Yep.
In these subject areas, like it's hard to find a math and science teacher. So how do you plan to address this gap in the delivery of your counting to calculus program?
So we are actually doing teacher training, 8-week teacher training programs. But today something occurred to me that had never occurred to me before, which is the fact that my 8-week AI training, which is an option I've offered to schools as well, that's not going to be sufficient in the AI revolution. AI requires you to be a lifelong learner. So at least we need maybe more like 40 hours of your life, not 8 hours. Here's why I say that. We are dealing with a new technology and and an educational shift. And our students are already trying to deal with change. There are too many changes happening for us to just hang out for 8 hours. No. We need a long plan to help teachers stabilize in the midst of all these disruptions happening right before their eyes. There was someone on LinkedIn that put a picture of an airplane flying with mechanics fixing the different engines. He said that's what he thinks about when he thinks of AI. It's like you're fixing and building your airplane while the plane is flying.
While it's flying.
This is what we're dealing with. And again, if you don't understand the gravity of what's going on now, then you don't understand what AI can do. But if you understand what AI can do, you should be scratching your head going, this is intense. Now, how do we deal with teacher shortage? We need to equip the current teachers on how to use AI very well because it helps amplify their reach. Because if I can use AI to do some of the administrative tasks, then it gives me more time to just teach. It reduces the time for me to burn out because that's the other reason. Some teachers are just tired. They're just like, we're done, we're tired. How do we help them to stay connected? AI can reduce the administrative burden and increase the reason why some people went to be teachers in the first place. They want to enjoy time with the children. And here's the other thing AI can do, an accelerated learning. We need to think of this moment in history like an army that is deployed for something that needs to happen quickly. I'm just using it as a quick example. So what I'm saying is we need educators to quickly get ready, like a firefighter, get your jackets, so we need accelerated teacher training programs, and then we keep mentoring the teachers along the way. Does that make sense? So you take someone who didn't even study teaching, but they love working with kids, and we bring the content, we train them, and we keep training them throughout 2026. So I think 2026 is going to be a key year in history. It's the first year where AI and agentic AI is readily available all across the world. What does that mean for education? That means that you can train teachers much more quickly and provide them more scaffolding to support their students. 2026 is a year that people need to stay awake. It's not a year to be sleeping. You got to stay awake and alert because a lot of change is coming.
Okay, so training for teachers, lifelong training.
Yep.
All right. On that note, we're going to go ahead and take another break.
Hello, this is a call to people who are interested in inspiring the next generation in mathematics and science, history, and English. We have a tutoring program, the Life Link After School Tutoring Program, and we will be providing orientation and training for teachers who are interested in supporting students after school. The goal is to train 1 million educators over the next 5 years to provide quality education to millions of children across Africa. This is a call to educators and those who are not even educators, but who want to learn how to teach. And they want to spend some time practicing and learning from other educators. We will be providing an orientation on December 2nd at 6 p.m. over Zoom. December 2nd at 6 p.m. over Zoom. And if you're interested in the program, please visit our website, learningforexcellence.com, and fill out your information, and we'll send you the Zoom link. learningforexcellence.com, one word, learningforexcellence.com. Fill out the information, we'll send you the details. The after-school teacher orientation will be on December 2nd at 6 p.m. During the orientation, we'll talk about how to provide quality education to students in the age of AI. We're living in very interesting times, and so we want to prepare educators to navigate the terrain in which they find themselves. So this is going to be on December 2nd at 6 p.m. Thank you so much.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. Okay, so it appears that the webinar trains teachers. So, Mr. Amos, can you tell us more about the webinar and the micro schools? How do those two work?
Yes, thank you for your question. So basically, remember what I mentioned. We are living in a state of emergency. It's a sense of emergency. We have change happening right before our eyes. We are now presenting educators around the world, but especially starting in Nigeria right now, with an 8-week webinar series to train them on understanding how to navigate education in the age of AI, while also providing them, again, that year-long support, right? Because, for example, a new AI model came out 2 weeks ago. That was a new type of model, and everybody has to figure out, okay, how does this work? How does that work? So as a teacher, you need to understand these models. You don't want your students to know more about AI than you, right? Because then the students essentially are one step ahead of you. So we want to make sure teachers are getting all the support they can get year round. And so we have the webinars happening in 8-week batches. There's a big one starting January 5th. We have people from Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Ghana. Hopefully we'll have Gambia, Sierra Leone, Senegal, and then Nigeria, right? So we want to have educators from all across the continent, from all around the world, who want to learn, mathematics, counting the calculus, and how to teach it with AI tools built in. Now, the candidates are people that are those who have already finished university, or those who are still trying to figure out what to do with their lives. You're done with secondary school, you have a job, but you're still trying to figure out, what do I do? I love working with people. Well, join these trainings, because you will get certifications that you can use for your life. And so this is a great opportunity. Everyone who goes through the training will get that certification. But remember, this is what is pretty cool. What we are teaching in these classes, even some American schools don't have it yet. They're still trying to figure this out. And we're going to be talking about all the AI tools. We're going to be bringing in AI scientists. We're going to be talking about how to build your own AI models for your own schools, for your own classrooms. We're going to give you all the support we can give, because I believe that it's actually interesting. This is our moment in history where, if Africa steps up in its education, it can actually go to the number one, or at least to the top 5, get some countries into the top 5 in the world in science and math education. So we're looking for anybody who has a passion to inspire young people. Come and join these webinars. We want to provide you with all the tools that you need. Lastly, the micro schools. The micro schools are the future of education in many setups. Why? Because think about it. AI allows for personalization of education at scale. You can personalize education for 1 billion people if you have the right AI models. That's crazy. As a matter of fact, we've built a GPT. So if you go to ChatGPT and you go to the GPT store, you can find one called Counting to Calculus. So just go to ChatGPT, under GPTs, type in Counting to Calculus. We're the ones who built that GPT. And the reason why we're bringing that up is, if you ask that GPT any questions, it's going to answer it in the ways that we've tried to modify the system. So we can help you build your GPT. But what we are trying to show ultimately is that in every micro school, they will have a GPT. They will have tools to help them, so that you can have one teacher. Actually, you can run a whole school with just 4 teachers. That's what AI allows us to do. And micro schools are the future, because every child needs to have a vision-based education that helps guide them to the things they're passionate about. That could not have happened when I was a student. Now it's very possible.
Yep.
Wow.
Technology has really come a long way. All right, Pastor
Oh,
Dan is over to you.
sure. You know, to me, this is quite interesting for someone like Tafa, who actually went through the Nigerian educational system and now an international star in science
Yeah.
and maths education. Now, my question for you, Mr. Tafa, is what is your message for the many children you have left behind? Some of them are afraid, and some of them have given up on maths and sciences. What's your message for them in the light of this AI revolution?
Say on that is this is going to sound heavy to digest, but people should just understand what I'm saying. The days of art students and social science and science students are gone. I know that the system is still going to have it, but those days are gone. And let me explain what I mean. If you don't know science and mathematics in the AI age, you are in trouble. I'm not going to lie to you, you are in trouble. Here's why. We're talking of AI now, but do you know that quantum computing is coming in the next 5 years also? What does quantum computing, or actually the next 5 to 10 years potentially, we're going to get more advanced in quantum computing. We're going to get more advanced in space tourism. You see what I'm getting at? All these different arenas of society, guess what? What do they need? They need math and science. So the first thing is I need to encourage everybody. Even if you're an art student, you still need to know physics. Even if you're a social science student, you still need to know chemistry. Because these are the fundamental things you will need in this society, especially if you want to interact with the global economy. But now let me answer the question of the fear. My people, mathematics is the easiest subject in the world. Let me repeat.
Wow.
Mathematics is the easiest subject in the world. The problem is that sometimes we don't give you the scaffolding you need. We are sorry. The scaffolding is the layers of instruction and build out that needs to happen. So here's my advice to you. Take the topics from counting to calculus. Understand that we've actually written a version for Nigeria specifically. Take counting to calculus. It is your primary 1 to SS3 textbook in one. It's one book. It's one story. And read it like a story. If you are stuck somewhere, go back to the previous chapter. The point is, mathematics builds on itself. That's why it's the easiest subject. I can't say that for biology. Because with biology, chapter 1 might be very different from chapter 9, which is very different from chapter 17. Mathematics is a story. Follow the story. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Because that's the other thing that happens is, true story, when I was in secondary school, around primary 5 to JS1, I remember I encountered a topic that I actually didn't understand. And I began to wonder, how am I going to do this? Now, by God's grace, I was the best in common entrance in my primary school, Air Force Primary School, Victoria Island, Lagos, in 1999. So I didn't do primary 6. I went from primary 5 to JS1 to Federal Government College, Ijanik in Lagos. And what you realize is that when you miss a topic or you don't understand something, it will affect you down the line. You have to go back and ask, what am I missing? If you get a 98% on a test, you still need to go back and ask, what was the 2% I missed? Because when I went to Federal Government College, Lagos, I never became number 1 for those 6 years, but I was a pretty good student. I became the head boy, I thank God. But one of the students who was the best in all 6 years in maths, he went to MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, for part of his degree, right? And I asked him when I went to visit him at MIT, what were you doing different from all of us? Why could we not beat you in mathematics? And later on, he sent me a book. He sent me a paper to read. And he said, Amos, it seems like this was what was helping me. Maybe he didn't realize it at the time, but he said, I knew how to practice and I knew how to find the patterns. My advice to anybody watching this is mathematics is about patterns. Find the pattern. Number 2, for science, let me just say something about science. Your study skills are more important than simply cramming and memorizing. What are your study skills? What are your habits? Do you have good habits for studying? These are the things we are going to train our teachers to teach you. If you know how to study and how to learn, you will conquer science. The problem is people don't know how to learn. Let me just tell you who the Nobel Prize winner last year in 2024. They were interviewing him. His name is Demis Hassabis. He's from the UK. Do you know that the reason that AI works today, all this AI everybody's enjoying, is because of the company he works for, Google DeepMind. They were the ones who released a paper on transformers, which power AI. This is the guy's company that did it. And they asked him what his advice was for students. He said, you are entering an era now where it's not so much how much you know or what you know, it's how you need to know how to learn. That's what matters, because you can get a job today and a new AI model comes out tomorrow. Now you need to rethink how to learn the new models. So my advice for students, again, number one is don't be afraid of math. Math is beautiful. It is so beautiful. Sometimes I'm doing math, I start crying because of how beautiful it is. Math is like music. It's like art.
Wow.
It's beautiful. The problem is our students have not seen that beauty. Teachers, please, let's give them the beauty in mathematics.
Wow.
Anyone watching this, go and look up.
Mr. Tafa, I know if I allow you, we will not leave here today.
Go anywhere.
But
Just
guess
remember,
what? Guess
math
what?
is beautiful.
Do you know you actually you got through to Daisy? Each time you talked about maths being the easiest subject, so beautiful, I just look at her eyes and she rolls her eyes and I'm just... But that's great. Maths is a story, and if you don't understand the story, you'll be frustrated. That's my take home from this. It's beautiful, but it's a beautiful story.
And you need to connect with Counting to Calculus, and we'll remove your fear for math and science. Thank you.
Like I said earlier, we applaud you for all you're doing. We appreciate your passion and your knowledge about AI and how we can use it to learn. Like I said earlier, I wish you had been born and you had developed this years ago when I was in school, because math was not my favorite subject. But it's catching up with me now. Even with my paycheck, I sometimes don't do the math correctly, and I don't even know when I'm underpaid. So it's catching up with me. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Amos Tafa, founder and CEO of LiveSTEM Academy, Minnesota, USA. Thank you so much for your time on Heroes of Peace with us tonight. We appreciate you coming in here. So do you have any last words that we can we got a lot tonight, but what are your last words?
I just really want to encourage parents, educators, everybody, take this moment and think about when electricity came and how it revolutionized society. Now think about the new electricity that has come and ask yourself, how can you tap into this opportunity? You are living in the build out of AI, the AI revolution. Make sure you are well prepared. Make sure you get mentoring, and make sure you are ready to serve the global community, because remote jobs are coming to Africa by God's grace. They are coming. Are you ready? Get yourself ready, and please make sure again that you become a lifelong learner. Don't think that, oh, it's time for holiday, so I don't have to read books anymore. I don't have to do that. No, we have entered an era where everybody has to be a lifelong learner, and encourage your friends to do the same. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, Daisy.
Thank you for everyone who has watched and listened. We appreciate your time. We need your material and financial support to put smiles on the faces of individuals, families, and the communities in this critical time. Please, if you have any support, you can send it via Zelle, and that will be Linkway Diplomats Inc. Incorporated at gmail.com. The information will be displayed on the screen, or you can send it directly to Linkway Outreach Africa via Zenith Bank, and the account number is 507-074-1420. We also have the account number is 101-5216740 for the Nigerian account. Again, thank you so much, and the zeal of the Lord will perform it.